Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptid's Roost. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time we upload new videos. I would like to reach out and say a huge thank you to those of you who have supported Cryptid's Roost financially. We pray the good Lord replenishes you abundantly, and to those of you who will later on. We pray the Lord bless you as you do so. And also a huge thank you to everyone for always supporting the channel with your likes, comments and shares as well. It is all very much appreciated. God bless you all. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. The Guardian, Part 1. This awesome series is written by FREDDEGRAN. Nils was standing ready and waiting for today's opponent on the schoolyard. He knew that the flames and his opponent would soon appear in the circle. He had recently been appointed as guardian for his school after the previous guardian, Gunnar, a boy no older than 13 years old, had been murdered by a demon called Behalet. It had cut Gunnar's head clean off his shoulders. Luckily, Robert, the Dark Slayer, had been present and ended the demon's life before it could cause a rampage on the school and its teachers and students. Nils sure hoped that today's opponent would not be as tough. This day would mark 1 week for Nils as the school guardian. He slayed 6 demons already, but each day they became tougher and harder to kill. This would make it 7 if he could make it out of this day alive. Nils was watching the circle on the playground as he now saw a familiar sight. It started to be engulfed in flames. Nils knew this meant that today's demon was about to appear, as they always did this time of day. But today's flames were larger and burning brighter than ever before. The playground began to fill up with heat and smoke. Nils started to sweat intensely, even though he was just wearing his normal clothes, no armour for increased speed and mobility. He started to get nervous by the sight of the flames. They were way bigger than anything he'd ever seen, even bigger than when Gunnar got killed. Nils feared that this meant the demon would be even more powerful, and then suddenly it appeared. It was bigger and taller than any demon Nils had ever seen before, standing over 3 meters tall, bright red in colour with yellow evil-looking eyes, hooves like a goat for feet, a long tail with a sharp pointed end and big long horns. This demon truly looked like the devil himself.
What a pathetic excuse for a guardian,
the demon laughed mockingly as it raised its weapon of choice, a devil's fork, a trident longer than Nils, with 3 sharp edges, all of them ready to penetrate the young boy's flesh. Nils would not show the demon how scared he was, and he raised his sword in return. Sparksbringer was the name Nils had chosen for the blade, but he would not let the demon know it, as it would give the demon a useful hint towards what kind of power Nils possessed. He tried his best to look tall and imposing as sweat started to dribble down his forehead. "What is your name, demon?" Nils asked, trying to sound calm but stuttering a little. Nils hoped the demon would not notice his stutterings. The demon quickly replied with just a 1-word response.
Lucifer.
No, it could not be. The demon sure was looking strong, but what would the ruler of demons want with such an inexperienced guardian such as Nils? Surely Lucifer himself would have bigger fish to fry. Either way, Nils was getting really nervous. Sweating profusely, he could see that the slayer, Robert, was once again in the middle of the crowd, watching the fight. But sadly, Nils knew that grown-ups were not allowed to interfere. 1 guardian per demon, those were the rules. The demon started spinning its tail around. It looked sharp enough to pierce both skin and bone. "You cannot be the real Lucifer," Nils said.
Really? And why not? You killed all my previous 6 minions I sent for you.
The demon retorted.
Each one was stronger than the last, so I thought I might finish you myself.
The demon answered. The demon raised his arm, holding the trident, and summoned a fireball as big as a soccer ball, and launched it right at Nils, who barely managed to dodge it as it hit the school wall behind him, leaving a soccer ball-sized hole in the wall. The teacher and kids all cleared or leave class to witness his fights each day. Nils knew as long as he was alive, they were all safe. The demon must first eliminate the Guardian before it can begin to slaughter the innocent. Nice attack, too bad it was a miss, he said mockingly.
Well, thank you,
Lucifer answered.
And what might your powers be, if I may ask? I hope it's not ice powers like the last one, or you will end up without your head, just like him. And do not think I will be slayed by your silly slayer either. He knows the true power of Lucifer.
Nils was in deep thought. So, the demon did not know his power. This was extremely useful information.
I fear ice attacks might be useless against a powerful fire demon like myself,
Lucifer said as he engulfed himself in flames. Yes, I think ice might not make me any more lucky than Gunnar, but what about water? Surely the water power of a powerful hydromancer would work wonders against a fire demon such as you are, sweeping you away like a tsunami.
I would hardly call a weakling like yourself powerful, so no matter what elemental type of powers you possess, and I hardly doubt it is water, if it was, you would have already defeated me. How about this?
The demon launched a quick surprise attack, smaller but much faster than before. A golf ball-sized fire attack almost out of nowhere. But Nils was ready with his enhanced eyesight and superhuman reflexes that all Guardians possessed. He swung his sword and returned to sender just like a tennis ball. He got Lucifer right in his left eye, blinding him on one side.
Fuck!
The demon screamed out in pain. All the children and teachers screamed in joy. Nils could see his friend Nicholas and his crush Elena in the crowd. You go, Nils! Beat that longhorn son of a bitch! Elena screamed. She was a pretty young girl, 1 year older than Nils, with long blonde hair. A slim waist, baby blue eyes, and puberty had developed her body in all the right places. But Nils needed to focus now. Yeah, fuck that goat-looking motherfucker, his friend Nicholas joined in. Nils started to feel brave. Maybe it was possible for a young boy such as himself to beat that powerful-looking demon with a little bit of cheering help from his friends.
Good trick,
The demon said.
but I am pretty sure you do not have a water powers. If I thought you did, I would not have made my way here. But I still wonder what your actual powers are.
Nils wished he had enough storm power to gather heavy rain clouds to rain down on the demon. What power do you think I possess? Nils calmly asked.
Maybe stone? Stone power would be a nice match for my firepower, or maybe light.
Nils quickly shot a bolt of lightning from the tip of his sword, hitting the demon's right eye, completely blinding him, and knocking his horn on the right side off. The crowd cheered. Nils felt powerful and had a newfound source of courage. Elena, will you go out with me? He asked. Yes, I will, she said as she came walking towards him. Nils realised his and her fatal mistake. The demon was blind, but he could still hear them, and she had just entered the battle zone. Any civilian inside the battle zone would legal prey for the demons. Only teachers and kids outside of the battle zone was protected by the magic and could not be hurt before the Guardian was dead, but Elena now could. The demon swiped with his trident towards Elena, who would surely have been killed if it was not for one brave boy, Pontus, who suddenly appeared and pushed Elena out of the way of the trident. and the young boy Pontus was impaled and was instantly killed in her stead. "Oh my God!" Elena exclaimed. "Pontus, no!" Nils knew that the boy had been in love with Elena, same as him. She was the prettiest girl in school after all, and most of the boys dreamed of her. Nils knew he would never have a shot with her if he had not become guardian.
"I have killed your friends, and now I will kill the girl you love, and after that I will eat you alive,"
the demon said threateningly as he held Pontus's corpse in front of Nils. Without thinking, Nils seized his opportunity and sliced Lucifer's trident, hold in hand, right off. Huge streams of blood started to spurt from the demon's arm. Nils laughed. "I took your hand and your weapon. Just as I took your eyes. You are now blind like a bat and one-handed also, and I am taking your legs next," Nils said as he began a rolling attack, rolling forwards and cutting both of the demon's legs off at the kneecaps.
"What the fuck? How can a boy of only 12 years be this powerful?"
the demon screamed as he fell to the ground. Elena appeared and kissed Nils on the lips. "I guess I am more powerful than I thought," Nils said as he felt the source of his magic flowing through his body. He gathered a bunch of rain clouds that began dripping rain down on the now blind and crippled demon. The demon was really angry now. In desperation, he started to gather a final attack, a small fireball in his one remaining hand. The rain, however, was so strong, making it hard for Lucifer to gather fire, and Nils was standing ready. He swung the fireball away easily and started to gather a final attack of his own. A powerful lightning bolt from the clouds above aimed at the demon's head. The demon had no choice but to guard his face with his last remaining arm, which was now destroyed. Nils stepped forward to finish the job. Without arms and legs and completely blind, the demon looked so powerless he almost felt sorry for it. Almost. "Any final words before I behead you?" Nils asked.
"Curse you, Slayer! I have seen your future!"
And the demon started to whisper. Slayer? So, Nils would have the dreams of becoming a Slayer come true after all. He leaned forward in excitement to hear what the demon was saying before he realised his fatal mistake. After all, he was only 12 years old and inexperienced as a guardian. He had taken the legs and arms, but what about the demon's tail? It came to him in lightning fast speed, and it indeed was powerful enough to pierce both flesh and bone of the young boy. "If I die, I'm at least taking you with me. Your head will be the biggest one to my collection yet," Nils said before he cut the demon's head off with one clean cut was all it took. He was completely covered in blood spraying from the demon's neck now, and he could feel his eyes becoming heavy and strength leaving his body before he collapsed. Part 2. The Slayer. The leader of the most powerful Slayers stood in his glorious shining golden armour, wielding a huge sword made out of pure electricity. Next to him stood Robert, a dark-skinned man. In an even darker armour, he was nicknamed the Dark Slayer, and feared by all demonkind. He was wielding 2 enormous revolvers, twice the size of normal human revolvers, and filled with blessed ammunition that was powerful enough to kill demons with ease. On his back he also had an axe. When he wanted to, the axe would burst into flames. The Slayer was powerful enough to wield this monstrous weapon without bursting into flames himself. Few other people were as powerful. Next to them was a young woman with blue eyes and long golden hair. She was around 18 to 19 years old and had recently become a Slayer after standing guard for years. Her whole body was covered in protective rock armour. Such was her power, she could summon and control rocks and stones. She was holding a long spear twice as tall as she was, and on her back a crossbow was hanging for long-range combat. She was an excellent marksman. The next member was the most powerful cryomancer in all the lands. He was completely covered in ice armour, and big and mighty polar bears were surrounding him. He had the power to command such beings, as well as making powerful beings of snow and ice. They had been hunting down a powerful demon lord called Lucius. The demon lord and its troops had been wreaking havoc in this area, and now it was time for the slayers to put an end to it. The Golden Leader used his powerful sword, Lightbringer, to gather a huge storm, drenching all of the demon kind's opposing forces in water and lowering their powers before hitting them with powerful lightning bolts. "Nice work! You must have killed at least 30 of them already," said Robert. And he was not lying. Bodies of demons exploded, spraying blood and guts all over the battlefield. Robert lifted both of his revolvers and emptied them. "There is another 12 down there," he said, as he emptied both of his 6-shooters, scoring a dozen headshots, hitting each demon between the eyes and letting its brain substance spray out of their heads. Robert started to reload his powerful revolvers at the same time as the cryomancer let off a powerful ice attack he had been loading up. Usually cryomancers were useless due to so many demons having fire powers, but not if they were as powerful as this one. He was so powerful he could freeze lower powered demons. "Attack!" he told his pack of powerful polar bears as they rushed towards the enemy's troops, and they began to maul them and biting and chewing arms and legs off and instantly killing demon foes by biting the entire head off. Lucius, the leader of the demons, set off a powerful fire attack, killing all of the polar bears. Maybe it was a mistake sending them into enemy territory. All the remaining demons, no more than 10 now, was about to launch long-range attacks, when the Golden Leader conjured up a storm, blowing in the opposite direction. Most of the attacks were blown away, but one of them hit the cryomancer. "Nicholas!" the Golden Leader screamed as his comrades in arms hit the ground with a hole in his chest the size of a basketball. "Stay focused, young one!" Robert shouted as he was skating on the ice towards the demons, emptying both of his revolvers, again hitting 6 demons with 2 shots each, 1 in each eye, instantly killing them, then swiftly switching weapons to the giant flaming axe. "He is dead," the woman slayer announced, after examining the corpse of their fallen comrade, Nicholas. "Okay, we do not got time, we need to grieve later. Let us get these demon sons of bitches." They skated towards the battle. Robert was chopping one head off and splitting another one clean open, but his axe got stuck in the skull. Before he could remove it, he was attacked. The demon lord Lucius struck him in his armpit with his enormous devil's fork. Such a blow would kill any normal man, but Robert was somehow able to survive in immense pain. The woman slayer arrived, spiking one demon like a kebab on her spear. "Now it's you and me," the leader said to the demon lord.
"Well, of course, Slayer, I have been waiting for you ever since you killed my younger brother Lucifer years ago."
A powerful strike with the devil's fork split Nils' helmet open and revealed his blue eyes and golden hair underneath. Elena did not hesitate. She sent an attack of flying rocks towards the demon lord, who easily dodged them, and was striking an attack with his fork right towards Nils' unprotected head. The young boy woke up screaming. "Ah!" "What is the matter?" said Nicholas, who had been waiting at Nils' bedside every single day since the battle with Lucifer. "I had a dream," Nils said. "You were a cryomancer. I became a powerful guardian, just like you." "Awesome," the young dark-haired boy said. Nils had not heart enough to tell his friend he would die a horrible death. "Yes, and Elena too. She could make powerful rock armors and attack." "I know," Nicholas said. "How could you possibly know what happens in my dreams?" Nils asked. "It is not a dream. Who do you think is standing guard right now? And she has been for 2 weeks." 2 weeks? I've been out for that long? "Yes, but Elena has killed every demon, which makes this one her 14th one. She will have twice the amount of heads as you when this one is done." Nils peeked outside of the window. With his enhanced eyesight, he could see all the way to the playground. Elena was covered in protective armour, and a vampire-looking demon tried to bite her, but it only managed to break its fangs against Elena's powerful rocks. She swiftly used her spear and pierced the vampire demon in its heart, claiming another victory. Part 3. The New Guardian. Elena was walking to Nils's hospital bed. She was thinking how she had always liked him. He was such a sweet, empathic and kind-hearted boy, but he seemed he had lacked the courage to ask her out before becoming the Guardian. She could somehow understand that feeling. She was feeling so much taller and braver after becoming a Guardian. She opened the door to Nils's room. He was conscious and his friend Nicholas was sitting by his bedside. She knew the dark-haired boy, Nicholas, had always had a crush on her. She hoped her and Nils's relationship would not break up the boys' friendship. While some relationship, the boyfriend had been crippled for most of the time. "Hello, sweetheart." "Hey, Nicholas," she said. She saw the eyes of both boys light up with attraction. "Oh, hey," Nicholas said, trying to play it cool, but failing miserably. She wondered if Nils noticed it too, but her boyfriend seemed oblivious. "Hey, my darling angel," said Nils. "Sweet kill on that vampire." "Oh, thanks, honey. It is a nice piece to add to my collection. Now I have way more heads than you. But no one as big as Lucifer's. He got to be at least a 5-pointer or maybe 10. "Hush now, kids, and stop your bickering," said Nurse Anna, who had stood in the room quietly for some time. "My healing magic should make Nils recover in a few days. Here, drink your elixirs." She handed them 2 vials, one pink for Elena and blue one for Nils, none for Nicholas. These contained powerful drinks that made the Guardian's powers more potent. But the best way to grow in power was, of course, to gain experience in mortal combat. "Oh look!" Nicholas exclaimed. Outside, kids were starting to holler. The circle for the Hellspawn was starting to burn bright with big flames. "Something big is coming," Nurse Anna said. "Yes," Elena said excitedly. "Maybe now I can finally claim a bigger head than your silly horned demon." "He was not so silly. Remember, he put me here in the hospital. Please be careful." "I will." Elena kissed him to shut him up. She used her magic powers to summon protective rocks and gathered them around her body like armour. She grabbed her sharp-looking spear, and Nurse Anna helped her with hanging the crossbow on her back. She stepped outside and saw a big and tall demon, the tallest she had ever seen, at least 6 meters tall, with 2 big and ugly heads, one pale-looking and one dark.
"We are Ebony and Ivory,"
the 2 heads said in unison. "And I am Elena. I'm here to kill you both." The conjoined demons started to wave their 4 arms angrily around. They did not appear to hold any weapons in any of the 4 arms. Elena thought it might give her an advantage holding her mighty spear. Without thinking, she attacked, rushing forward and pierced the demon in its left kneecap. The demon violently swiped with all of its 4 arms, but the extremely graceful girl dodged each blow with ease, her long blonde hair swaying in the wind. Nils watched in awe from his hospital window. He was really impressed by the skill Elena showed, and he was thinking she might now be more skillful than him, a thought that bothered him somehow. But in his heart, he knew the most important thing was that Elena would prevail and slay the giant beast. Nicholas was sitting by his bedside. "Wonder how many points that giant beast is worth. It gotta be lots." "Yeah, a metric shit-ton is my guess, but does it count as 1 or 2? Nurse Anna joined in on the conversation. "I know you wish to help your girlfriend, but you are not yet fully healed. And also remember the rules, only 1 guardian versus 1 demon." "Fuck the rules," Nils cursed, thinking about the rules which had been in place since the angels had seemingly forsaken the humans after the Angels and Demons War so long ago. But he also knew Nurse Anna had his best interest in mind and made good points. "Could you at least hand me my sword?" Nils asked. The 30-ish old woman She had bright red hair and blue eyes. Nils was thinking about how attractive she was looking. It seemed like all female magic users were. Maybe it was the same for men and boys in females' eyes. Nils began to wonder. Well, anyway, Elena had always been his one and true love. Nils hoped she did not mind him watching another woman. See, but don't touch was the rules. I'm sure she will do fine without you. Just look at how well she is doing. She's gotten more and more powerful over time. This was indeed true, and Elena was feeling more powerful than ever, striking a successful blow, piercing the right kneecap of the foul beast.
Fuck!
Both the ugly demon heads screamed in unison.
Curse you, young guardian!
The pale head said, while the dark one was still cursing. They swiped with all four arms. Elena swiftly dodged 1, 2, 3, 4, but she was getting tired. The demon swiped with all arms again. Elena dodged 1, 2, 3, but the last one grabbed her spear. Oh no! Nils, Nicholas and Nurse Anna all began to panic. Fuck! I might not be able to leave this bed, but maybe I can help her from afar. Nils began to plot. The crowd of children and teachers outside all began to scream and panic too. Elena could see the Slayer Robert in the crowd, but she knew the rules. Slayers could not interfere, so she could not accept any help from that direction. But she looked up and she could see the clouds beginning to gather above the demons, Ebony and Ivory's heads. Nils, my love, she thought as she pulled out her crossbow and started shooting at the pale one called Ivory's head. The four-armed monster dodged 4 bolts with its arms, but the 5th one pierced its ear and it began to scream in pain. But at the same time, it casted a quick magic lightning spell just powerful enough to not hurt but blind the young girl. The other head was starting to gather a magic spell of darkness. She could see the dark orb growing bigger and bigger, and then suddenly a bolt of lightning hit the dark head called Ebony, instantly killing it as its head was smashed, its brains and blood splashing all over Elena. The crowd erupted in laughter and cheerful hollering. She could even see the Dark Slayer Robert smiling in the crowd. Now that was an unusual sight. However, this was no time to truly celebrate. The pale head was still alive and grabbed Elena with the 2 arms it still had control over. It seemed it had lost control of the 2 arms on the other side of the body. It held up Elena to its face and was ready to chew on her and eat her alive. But just as the giant demon opened its disgusting mouth, Elena, with her supreme agility, drew her dagger with insane speed and gored the demon 3 quick stabs, 1 in each eye and 1 in the frontal lobe, piercing its brain, and after that she began cutting its neck. The demon, now fully dead, dropped her to the ground. She stood up fast and exclaimed, "That head is mine!" before starting to break it off. Nils could claim the other one, or what was left of it. It appeared these demons did indeed count as 2, and Nils had not broken the rules. Good work with the 2 powerful guardians. I feel it's now safe to leave this school for my mission while I leave guarding this school to your capable hands, said Robert, the Dark Slayer, before leaving. Part 4. The Tale of 2 Guardians. Nils and Elena stood in the trophy room admiring the hundreds of cut-off demon heads that all the different guardians had assembled over the years. There were pictures of all the former guardians hanging on the wall now. Most of them were dead, like Nicholas's brother Gunnar the Cryomancer, who had a picture hanging up on the wall. Nils was a bit jealous of Elena's longer row of demon heads, but he tried not to make it obvious and show. Elena was in turn admiring the size of Nils's biggest head, the demon who had called himself Lucifer. But he cannot have been the real Lucifer, the devil, and ruler of hell and all demons, Nicholas interrupted. He had seen Elena's eyes focused on the horned demon head. No, of course not, Nils said. I'm just a boy of 12, soon to be 13. I could hardly stand a chance against the ruler of hell, and we all know the demons are notorious liars. Yeah, he was just trying to scare you, darling, but you did not let him, Elena said, kissing Nils on his cheek. But we guardians have our tricks to try not to show the demons what kind of magic we have. They seem to send harder and harder demons for us to fight each time. I wish they would run out of demons, said Nicholas. Elena and Nils began both to laugh. Ha ha! Yeah, that's a good point, but I doubt it will happen, my best friend, said Nils to Nicholas. The demon heads had netted Nils and Elena 5 points each, but the biggest one was still Lucifer's at 10 points. The biggest one for the young guardian couple, but of course there were rumours of slayers cutting off heads worth hundreds of points. Nils could not even fathom how big and powerful those demons would be, but surely they would destroy him and Elena both in only an instant. But luckily no such demon had appeared in the last 3 days. In fact, no demons whatsoever had appeared. Maybe hell really had run out of demons. His thought was interrupted by a familiar sight, followed by an unfamiliar one. A burning circle, followed by another burning circle, signalling the arrival of 2 demons this time. 2 demons? Nicholas exclaimed, confused. But luckily we have 2 guardians this time. I know you can do this, my friends, he said. Nils and Elena both rushed out, battle ready, with weapons in hand. The first demon was a winged one, looking like a gargoyle. It was flying in the air. It was not very big, about the same size as Nils. I call dibs on the flying one, Elena screamed. She lowered her spear and readied her crossbow. Then the second one appeared. It was a big and ugly looking one, like a giant troll, with a long pointy nose, yellow eyes and bushy eyebrows, really dark in colour. Also dark in colour was the troll's long hair, all down to its shoulders, and its long black beard. It was holding a club in one hand and a shield in the other hand. Then I guess this ugly troll is mine, Nils shouted excitedly. Why do you always get the big ones? Elena sighed.
Who are you calling ugly, you puny guardian?
The troll shouted angrily.
You really are ugly,
the flying gargoyle demon cackled mockingly. Elena quickly released bolts from her crossbow, but sadly she was not quick enough. The winged demon dodged them with ease. Look, that flying rat is fast, she exclaimed.
Rat? My name is Arkham. I am a mighty demon lord.
The flying demon screamed, now angry. Wow, looks like you hit a nerve, Nils said and began to laugh. Yes, who knew demons were so sensitive, said Elena and joined Nils in laughter.
And I am the mighty as a dog,
the troll screamed as it started banging its club against the shield. Azatok? That sounds a little too eldritch for you. You should be called Pinocchio with that long nose of yours, Nils said, and Elena started to laugh.
Ah, you mock me, little one, but I am a mighty demon lord. You should fear me and my strength.
The troll slammed his club into the ground, and the ground started to shake. Nils, with his cat-like agility, jumped over the most powerful attack and was not hit by the quake. But Elena was so focused on the flying demon that she had no time to dodge, and the attack made her fall to her knees. The flying demon Arkham seized his opportunity and grabbed the blonde girl, flying away with her in his arms. Nils was also battle-focused. With a vertical slice, he cut off half of the ugly troll's long nose. The troll screamed angrily in pain as Nils attacked with a horizontal slice, but the big troll guarded it with his shield. Nils jumped backwards and looked around for Elena and saw the flying demon was holding her and sent a powerful lightning strike at the flying beast's body. The lightning was so fast that the demon had no chance to dodge, and his body exploded and blood and guts started raining down on the crowd of children and teachers who were now cheering in joy. Elena was dropped and began falling from the sky. With Nils' eyes focused on his love, the troll saw his chance to attack and unarmed Nils with one powerful swipe with his club. Now weaponless, the boy had no choice but to retreat, so he began pedalling backwards, dodging a what would have been a fatal blow from the mighty troll. Nils responded to the troll's attack with his own counter-attack, shooting lightning out of his fingertips, hitting and destroying the troll's left eye, causing his left eyebrow to start burning before the big troll could raise its shield to prevent the attack. Now blind in one eye, the troll started to scream in anger, caused by the pain. The troll was going for its final attack, striking out in anger at Nils' head, but Elena came crashing down on the troll's head by summoning protective rocks around her body. So she hit the troll with such an impact, like a big rock dropping on him, that the ugly troll was squashed into a million tiny pieces. The crowd screamed in joy. They felt so lucky to have two guardians, and both so powerful. The crowd started to chant, "Kiss! Kiss!" and Elena obliged by kissing her young boy lover. The day and night were spent celebrating, eating and drinking. The best foods for Elena and Nils they of course shared with their friend Nicholas. The guardians went to bed. They both slept in the same room, and just after Elena and Nils had both fallen to sleep, a tiny man made of stone climbed in through their window and stood there all night, silently watching Elena. Part 5. The Angel. In the morning, they were awoken by an intense knocking on the door. They both quickly began to get dressed, and Elena rushed to open the door. "Oh, hello, Robert," said Elena to the Dark Slayer. "Hello," Robert said in return, "and hello to you, Nils." "What the fuck is this?" Nils screamed, just noticing the man made of stone hiding under his and Elena's bed. Robert looked under the bed and saw the tiny man made of rocks. "It is a familiar, and by the looks of it, it is here to protect Elena. It just so happens I got one for you too," he said as he removed a glass bottle from his robe's pocket. Nils took the bottle in his hand. He saw it had a tiny fairy inside. He removed the cork and let the fairy out.
"My name is Navi,"
the fairy said. "Hello, I am Nils."
"Hello, I am here to protect you,"
Navi, the fairy said. "Nice to meet you. I am Elena."
"Oh, I do not know why, but I like you,"
said the fairy, Navi.
My name is Gimli.
Said the Rockman.
I am here to protect Elena.
You two have levelled up in power, so much so, familiars seek you out. Only powerful guardians have familiars. But you do not have any, said Nils to Robert. Oh, I sure do, but it's real powerful and secret and hidden. I only bring him for real important missions. Which reminds me. Robert had a black garbage bag with him. He removed a big and ugly demon head out of it, at least worth 20 points by Nils's estimate. This is a pestilence demon, or at least what is left of it. I of course burned it to get rid of the virus, so it does not infect us. Sadly, the pestilence had spread through the town, and I had to burn it all down. Killing everyone? Elena cried out. 300, including women and children, but it's better than having the pestilence spread through all the country. A slayer has to make the tough choices. I understand, said Nils. We do not want what happened in the old days, where plenty of countries had to be nuked to not let the pestilence spread and the demons to take over. Exactly, said Robert. Now the circle started shining again, but not by fire as usual, but by a bright white light. What the fuck? Nils and Elena said as one. Interesting. This is a new sight. You better get fully dressed and armed, young ones. This may be your toughest battle yet. Nils and Elena both obeyed and gathered their armours and weapons. Both of them had chosen only light armour for maximum mobility, like increased speed and jumping ability. Elena had a shiny new spear and her old trusty crossbow fully loaded with new bolts. Nils had a shiny new sword, longer and sharper than before. Both were wearing belts full of throwing daggers. The Slayer gave them each a bottle to drink, a pink liquid for Elena and a blue one for Nils. These drinks increase their maximum battle potential short term, perfect to drink before standing guard.
Okay, let us go get them,
said the fairy, Navi. Nils was wondering what use the fairy would be. It did not look extraordinarily strong, but he was too smart and polite to voice such concerns out loud.
Yes, I hope you both are ready for battle,
said the rockman, Gimli. Nils could not stop himself from thinking that Elena's familiar looked way stronger than this, but it was time to test out which was better in real combat. Both guardians arrived at the playground as usual, but was met with an unusual sight. An angel, not a demon, was hovering in the air before them, holding a long and sharp-looking blade shining in bright light. The blade and angel both. The angel had big white wings looking like they were made from feathers.
I am Angelina,
the angel said. Oh, hi, I am Elena, said Elena, and I am Nils. I hope you come in peace. We thought the angels had forsaken mankind a long time ago. Of course she does, said Christian, one of the few kids in school who was still a religious believer. Most had left old religions in the past when the angels had left them. Christian was running into the battle zone with his arms out, looking like he wanted to hug the angel.
I do not,
the angel responded, as it came down from the sky, decapitating the naive boy with one swift sword strike. His head flew through the sky, still a blissful smile on his face. The angel had killed him so fast he had never realised what was happening. Nils took a good look at Angelina, so was easily the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, but he would not tell Elena that. The angel appeared as a young woman of about 25 years old, with long gold-like blonde hair, a face with perfect symmetry, slim waist, but still had a big and impressive ass and tits, and long slim legs. It was an impossible figure for a human girl, so he knew this truly was an angel, and then yet she had an evil gaze in her eyes. Angel or demon, it matters not, I will slay you for that, Nils screamed at the top of his lungs. Not if I can slay her first, Elena also screamed, angry at the sight of the angel's cold-blooded murder of an innocent child. The crowd who had gathered as usual erupted in cheering and chanting for the young couple. Nils! 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 And Elena! Elena! Slay Queen! Nils seized the opportunity and leaned in for a quick kiss, and Elena responded with her lips. The angel saw this as a chance to attack and did just so, and swooped down for a strike, cutting Elena's spear in half. It would have cut her in half too, if the young girl had not been quick and jumped backwards. Nils returned fire with a brilliant cut, cutting the angel's blade-holding arm in half. Blood sprayed everywhere as the angel escaped, flying up high, gathering magic for a long-range attack. Elena tried to shoot it with her crossbow, but kept missing. Fly up and attack the angel, Nils said to Navi.
No, master, I'd rather stay by your side.
Nils again wondered what use the fairy would be, and Elena's familiar was lacking wings, so it would not be of much use either. He summoned a quick lightning strike from above, hitting the angel in its right wing, putting a hole through it. The angel was wounded, but not dead, and now she was mad. Screaming in anger, she returned fire with sharp lightning. Jills jumped out of the way, and landed by the angel's cut-off hand. Still holding the sword, he tried to pick it up, but it appeared he could not touch it.
You fool! Only angels can touch an angel blade!
Angelina laughed at him mockingly. Nils never knew his parents, both of them murdered by demons while he was still young, but it was clear they were not angels for sure. This angel was gathering a more powerful attack. Elena's crossbow and Nils' lightning both kept missing, and then the attack came. Nils tried to jump out of the way, but this beam was broader than before and it hit him in the chest, causing a big immortal wound. He fell down on his back, dying. No, Nils, my love! Elena screamed, tears running down her eyes. The angel was cackling like a mad demon above them. I will cut your head off for this, Elena screamed, and old teachers and children in the crowd screamed with her.
Time to do some good,
said the fairy Navi, using a powerful healing magic, sacrificing her own life to save Nils and heal his wound. I am forever thankful and will never forget you, Navi, Nils said, standing up as the hole in his chest was still closing and healing.
It matters not. You will never be fast enough to dodge my ultimate attack,
said the angel. Nils could see her powering up a magic spell, the biggest one yet. It looked like indeed this one would be too big for him to even try to dodge, making the fairy's sacrifice in vain. Out of nowhere, before the angel could shoot, Elena came jumping impossibly high, cutting the angel's head off with one swift sword strike to the neck by the angel's blade she was holding. Nils was no angel, but it appeared that Elena was. She came falling down, her wings slowing the fall. The dead angel's head came crashing down too. It hit the playground fast and hard, exploding blood and brains spraying all over. The crowd was cheering. Don't forget, if you enjoyed that story, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. I'm sure they really would appreciate it. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Oh, and don't forget to share the video far and wide. This will all help with YouTube's algorithm and will help to promote this channel more. And don't forget to check out the merch store. The link will be in the description and also in the video thumbnail. And if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with your purchase and I'll feature it in one of the videos. I now have my very own subreddit community where you can submit any stories you've written. You can submit your stories or encounters either there or send them to cryptidsroost@gmail.com. If you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. All the links are below. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, and you'll also find me on Discord. If you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that will also be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.